All right, let's dive in. Think of us today as cultural detectives. Our mission? To crack the code of some incredible stories hidden deep within ancient Nigerian art.
So, this is really the big question, right? What are these treasures telling us? Because we're not just looking at old statues here. We are literally unlocking secrets about powerful kingdoms and brilliant artists from centuries ago.
Okay, so our investigation officially begins now. But forget fingerprints or dusty old documents. Our main evidence? It's the art itself. We're going to use these masterpieces to piece together the story of Nigeria's incredible past. And here's the most important thing to remember. Every single piece of art we're about to look at is basically a historical document. Our job is to learn how to read it, to understand its language.
So, how do we do that? Well, first, we need to meet the masters, or I should say, the four powerhouse art styles that really formed the pillars of Nigeria's ancient artistic heritage.
Okay, think of this chart as our case file. It gives us our key subjects at a glance. You've got Nak, Igbo Ukwu, Ife, and Benin. Now look closely. See the different materials they used, and more importantly, their different functions. Some were for religious stuff, others for royalty. This right here, this is the foundation for everything we're about to uncover.
All right, let's start with our first big clue. We're going way back to the Nok civilization. This is pretty much the oldest known major art form we have from this entire region.
The artists here were absolute masters of terracotta. You know, baked clay. So if you ever see one of those dramatic, really expressive ancient clay heads, yeah, chances are it's Nook. And these things weren't just pretty decorations. No way. They were super important items used in religious ceremonies and kept in sacred spaces. Okay, clue number 2. Let's see how the story builds from here. We're going to travel a bit now over to the southeast to check out the absolutely mind-blowing metalwork of Igbo Ukwu.
The key word you need to remember for Igbo Ukwu is intricate. Seriously, the detail is just wow. These artisans worked with bronze, which is a tough, valuable material to work with, by the way, and they made these stunningly detailed objects. We're talking ornate pots, beautiful ornaments, stuff so special it was only for the kings or high priests. It was all about connecting that earthly power with the divine.
Next up, our third clue. This one takes us to Ife. And let me tell you, this art style is famous all over the world for one very specific, absolutely breathtaking skill.
And that skill? It's what we call royal realism. The artists in Ife used brass to make sculptures of their royalty, their kings and queens, that are so unbelievably lifelike, it's just astonishing. It's like they captured every single feature as if the person was standing right in front of you. They were literally immortalizing their rulers in metal.
Okay, time for our final clue. For this one, we turn to the great kingdom of Benin, and this is where art wasn't just beautiful. It was basically a library.
I'm not kidding. The artists of Benin literally wrote their history down on metal. They created these amazing bronze plaques, these flat metal slabs, and they were hung all over the Obus Palace. Each one told a story, showing important battles, big ceremonies, scenes from court life. They were literally history books for everyone to see.
So, we've gathered all our clues, right? We've got the Nok, Igbo Ukwu, Ife, and Benin. Now comes the best part. The aha moment. This is where we connect all the dots and the bigger picture just clicks into place.
And this is the key idea for our whole investigation. Story-based evidence. These beautiful objects, they are our primary sources. They're what let us interpret the values, the beliefs, the entire history of societies that didn't leave behind a ton of written records.
This comparison is just perfect. It shows you how different cultures solve different problems with their art. You have the Nok people using simple clay for their religious items. Then you have Bennett using valuable bronze for their historical records. But look at what they have in common, that shared skill. Incredible observation. Both of these groups of artists were absolute masters at capturing tiny details to preserve what was most important to their culture. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to this simple idea. This art isn't just about the past. It's a living, breathing connection to history, to identity, and, well, like the quote says, our art, our history, our pride.
So why did we go through all this? What's the point of our investigation? It's to realize that these stories, they aren't meant to stay buried in the ground. Our job now is to carry them forward.
Just think about it. Imagine a school project, right? You could pick the Benin bronze art because its whole purpose is so clear. It's storytelling. You could show kids these plaques and say, look, This is what the Oba's court actually looked like 500 years ago. All of a sudden, history isn't just a boring date in a textbook. It's a real scene you can actually see.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. When we truly understand our roots, when we see the incredible skill, the intelligence, the sheer creativity of our ancestors, that's how we build a real, strong, and informed sense of cultural pride.
So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. These ancient artists, they left behind such a powerful story, told in clay and brass and bronze. It makes you wonder, right? What materials are we using today, and what story will people 1,000 years from now learn about us?